Welcome to Greater Good Radio Hawaii, where leaders inspire leaders. Greater Good Radio Hawaii is dedicated to social entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Evan Leong, and with me is my co-host, Carrie Leong.
Mahalo, Evan. Today's guest is Eddie Flores, President and CEO of L&L Drive-In and L&L Hawaiian Barbecue Restaurants chain. L&L currently has 145 locations that stretch across 9 different states. Eddie has been awarded numerous awards, including the Small Business Administration and Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year for the state of Hawaii. Eddie established a Filipino Fiesta and Parade and raised $14.2 million for the Filipino Community Center. Please welcome to Greater Good Radio, Eddie Flores. Welcome to our show, Eddie.
Aloha.
So you purchased your first L&L restaurant in 1976 for your mother.
Yeah, really. It's 1976. At that time, I was a business broker, meaning that we sell restaurants, bars, and so on. And I found there was a little restaurant for sale down at Liliha Street. And my mom was working as a cashier at Patty's Kitchen down at Ala Moana. And, you know, my mom is Chinese. And being Chinese, you know, they has a very entrepreneur spirit. They always wanted to own a restaurant. So I bought her the restaurant, gave it to her as a gift.
And her reaction, or did she know the transaction was in the process?
Well, she was very surprised and very elated, very happy, and very thankful. And as soon as she started to make money, I fired her.
What?
Well, that's a joke, you know. I mean,
Wait, so how did she figure out how to run it? If she was running as a cashier, running a business is a whole different story, right?
she doesn't know how to run it. She doesn't know how to cook either. And the funny thing was, you know, we're very fortunate because the people that sold it to us was Mrs. Kitagawa. And she stayed back and helped us a little. And my mom knows Neil, a cleaning lady, a Fong, and she came over and helped us too. So we learned how to make the hamburger and so on. So that's how she learned, you know.
So L&L, what made you buy L&L versus another restaurant then?
Well, I bought L&L for one reason. It's about a block away from where we used to live at Liliha Street. We used to live right at the corner of school and Liliha Street, and L&L is just about a block away. Mm-hmm. So it's perfect for us, and it's making money. It's a very good small business, and I do a lot of analysis of businesses. When I saw that, I said, hey, I'm going to buy for my mom and make her work.
So was the transaction just more of ownership because that lady that sold it to you?
Well, she sold it to us, and we paid $22,000 for it.
Uh-huh. And she still stayed there, you said. And what about the other employees?
She just stayed back and helped us. And we make money. It's very simple because the whole family worked there. You know, my sisters, myself, we don't get paid.
So it's just a matter of figuring it out then?
Well, that's how entrepreneurship, people just don't understand entrepreneurship, you know. If I have to hire a manager to run it, I might need to double my sales to break even. But the whole family runs it, half the sales, you make money.
Right. So when did you guys decide to franchise?
The franchises came in about 1989. What happened was back in 1976, my mom, she did not want to work at nighttime. She was tired of working at nighttime. So I called up my good friend, Mr. Johnson Camp, and I asked him if he wants to be a partner. And I sold him half the interest, and he became a partner. 5 years later, my mom said she had enough of restaurant business. It's very hard work. And we sold everything to Johnson Camp. So I was out of the restaurant business, being graduated from University of Hawaii with a degree in business. You'd expect me to wash dishes and do all those dirty work, right? So I was never interested in restaurant business. And Johnson was a very nice man, very generous. And a number of his friends asked him, hey, you know, you're doing good, Johnson. Can you teach me how to open up an L&L plate lunch? And he actually helped them, taught them how to cook, gave them some money, and they opened up an L&L, the second one.
You mean he just helped them for the sake of helping them, or he had a business deal going on?
Oh, absolutely. He just helped them. You know, I mean, that's the kind of partner I really like. And in 1989, we were vacationing in Maui. I still remember about our family. And I told him, you know, you did that for about 2-3 of your friends. You know, that doesn't seem right. And that's not the Chinese way of doing business. We're supposed to make money. We're supposed to, you know, make a profit. But you just don't give it away. And he agreed, and he asked me if I want to come back and help him. And I came back as the president and started to expand L&L in 1991. And mind you, that was the beginning of the Gulf War.
So what were sales good or bad when the Gulf War started? Was it hard?
Well, I don't know if you guys remember. You guys may be too young to remember that, the Gulf War.
I don't think I was too young. I just don't remember it that much, yeah.
But during the Gulf War, that was the beginning of the first long recession in Hawaii. We never have a recession. We have cycles in real estate, up and down, but not a true recession. And that lasted almost like 9 years. And people were dying and crying all over the state of Hawaii. But for us, at that time, we have about 5 to 6 L&L, and we actually grew during the recession in 9 years and grew up to about 50 restaurants.
So how did you guys do that when other companies were going out of business?
Well, I really don't know. If you ask me, I think basically when you're dealing with fast food business, we're kind of like recession-proof. When people don't have money, they eat at L&L. They don't go down to Roy's or they don't go down to Michelle. I mean, they go to L. I mean, we don't have money. You eat at L&L.
So these people that were opening new L&L locations, you're known for being really generous. Did you also just allow them to open up with your money, or was it now being a franchise type of?
Well, back in the 90s, when we started to expand again, back to Johnson's philosophy again, being a very generous man, what he did was when I found a location, let's say I found a good location, I tell you, Johnson, I got this location. Let's open it. And he would look for one of his employees that we feel that has some potential, and we actually give him a percentage, like 20, 30, 40, 50%, depending, how we work that out, and we gave him the percentage. And we guarantee the loan, we guarantee the lease, and let him run it just like he owned the business. And eventually, we sell it to him 100%, and he owns the business all by himself. And most of these people are really Chinese immigrants, with no business knowledge. They can speak English, and yet they work very hard. You go down to my restaurant, sometimes you may not have the service you expect. But again, they're all immigrants, and they work very hard.
So what do you think is the secret for Chinese immigrants that can make it, can't speak English, have no money, and, people raised in America with a lot, some of them can't seem to do it? I don't
want to say just Chinese immigrants. I think if you look at the history, the Vietnamese, they're another group that came in with absolutely nothing. And you look around right now, they own so many businesses. It's incredible. I think the Korean, too, they're the same thing. I think, they're pretty natural in business. I mean, you don't have to tell them. I don't have to tell them how to do a balance sheet. I don't have to tell them to break even. All they know is they make money. And they don't speak English. They don't care. They don't write checks. The kids write the checks for them, some of our franchisees in Hawaii. But it's basically hard work. They work 7 days a week. Sometimes they put in almost like 12, 15 hours a day.
So franchising, when you first started off, isn't it hard to set up an actual franchise system because there's so many legalities and restrictions and so on?
Well, franchising is very difficult to set up. In fact, when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. I don't think too many companies in Hawaii really franchise and become successful. I can't think of anyone. I don't know if you can tell me. But we are actually one of the first local company in Hawaii that started the franchise and became very successful. That's a lot to learn. There are a lot of rules, a lot of regulations, and fortunately, I'm a very fast learner from Kali Palama. We learn very fast.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.